Drive safely.
Okay, here we go. We're spotting the mobile speed camera. Speed along here is 50 kilometres an hour. Let's see if we can spot the mobile speed camera. This street is one of the top 10. There's been recent reports, which in ways. But sometimes they've moved on. No, it's not that one. Looks like it's moved on. Oh well, at least we've got the street. the indicator on. Oh, and another one, and another one, and another one. None of them put their indicators on until this last minute. Really does not help. Really knows where he's going. Not.
Camera nearby. Camera nearby.
It doesn't look like pathology. It's got, I think, ladders on the top of its roof. is over there.
Thank you.
Okay, Google, directions to Warrigal Road.
The best way to get to Warrigal Road by car is via Burke Road and will take about 16 minutes in moderate traffic.
Did not help.
Red light speed camera ahead. The speed limit is 60 kilometers.
Camera nearby. Camera nearby.
If you notice that the sensors are actually quite a way in front of the stop line there. So if you were going around that corner, turning left, and the lights changed and you decide to proceed, there's a good chance you'd actually get fined. Because your car can't go far enough, it's just sitting at the corner. Then, more than likely, you still have part of your car on the sensors.
Slow down.
bus comes up to, I think, Doncaster shopping town. Goes along Moneyham Road through Preston and continues around and eventually gets apparently to Altona. It's a long bus ride. this corner coming up here used to have the Nicholas company. Not exactly sure. I think they possibly pharmaceutical, not sure. But anyway, the Nicholas was up there. And then one of the insurance companies in the city said that they were going to actually build on this land and make it at the head office. And as the story goes, if I remember correctly in the newspapers, the Victorian government vetoed it and said you can't take your staff out of the city because that would take 3% of the workforce out of the city. Now, got to keep in mind that this is a time that we talk about decentralisation, and yet one government is talking about decentralisation of the workforce and another government is turning around and stopping it, perhaps even the same government. So could have easily had a lot of suburban workers out here closer to their homes, but instead it was stopped by the government. And it sort of shows you how the government works, how things are done. I personally think that the work from home should be an integral part of our society and our system. And if you can work from home, you should, because what happens is that takes all the traffic off the road, the demand on the public transport. And if we look at the population increase, I think they said from 2000 and now 24 years, the population has gone up 45%. We've got the same roads. This is the same road that existed 24 years ago. The roads that I'm driving along. So we've got 50% more traffic on the roads. And it's even worse than that, because what the local councils do is they strangle all the rat runs we call them, all the smaller roads.
Red light speed camera ahead.
All the
speed limit is
onto these main roads.
60 kilometres.
So we just haven't
Camera
had
nearby.
a 45%
Camera
increase
nearby.
in traffic on the roads, on the main roads. Who knows what it would be, but it'd be interesting to see what the stats really say about what the traffic is. There we go. Do not even attempt to get through when there's a red light camera sitting right there, one behind us and one in front of us. That one across the road actually got me for speeding, and it was late on a Saturday afternoon, and I thought this 40 kilometre an hour actually applied Monday to Friday because of the Holmes Glen College being a school, but it turned out that it actually applied Saturday as well. Why? Who knows? But it did, and it still does. I thought it was actually up to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's probably about 1:30 or something. I was actually heading for the McDonald's right next to us to take my mum, who was in a retirement home, take her out for the day. I was going slowly, didn't realise. But anyway, the good thing is I actually wrote a letter and took it into the civic compliance office in the city, and they read the letter and they said you'll never hear anything more about it, so they just dismissed it there and then. I was amazed. It's good because I had a good driving record, have a good driving record. I've had very few fines over the many years. I don't even think any of them have been a deliberate speeding fine. Certainly no red light camera fines. But this is where it's silly. If you have a look here, we've got a perfectly good pedestrian light, and then have a look up further. We've got another pedestrian crossing. There's no reason why the people can't come down to here from there instead of crossing at that point. There's no reason for that. And then after we have this pedestrian crossing, we have another set of traffic lights, and up above we have another crossing. It's just crazy. This road could easily
Slow down.
60 kilometres an hour, and the crossing point's only at the 2 crossing points. And if they made that crossing above from the train line better, because at the moment it's woeful, it takes you probably 50 metres up the train line to get down. If they made that better, it would be so much more convenient for the train travellers. So honestly, I just, that to me, that's a money spinner. They have done a lot of work though, because they put the wire fences up the centre to try to stop people crossing over. So they've done a lot to it, but it still raises millions of dollars every year, and that's been going on for decades. So I mean, that's probably $100 million raised in fines through that intersection. It's a lot of money. It's got me. It's got a friend of mine, and I certainly was not deliberately trying to speed. But deliberate or not, it was my fault, and I was thankful that the staff at Civic Compliance let me off. Well, yeah, removed the fine. So it's not my intention generally to speed. So if I can stick with inside the speed limit, I do. It's just the way I drive. It's the way I like to drive. My little speed limit alerts program that I wrote allows me to do that better than what I could in the past. So I'm very happy with that. I wrote it for myself. If other people want to use it, they're welcome to. The beeping that you hear is because I'm actually running it in developer mode. So every time I go past a speed sign, it beeps. In the live release, it does not beep. It really only makes a noise if you're speeding, alerts you to cameras and things like that. So it's actually very quiet as you drive along. But for me, I'm used to it. It's weird. I'm actually used to the beeping. Yeah, one of the thoughts I thought about the beeping, I was thinking maybe of changing it so that it's an option to beep on change of speed limit. Because, for example, you're driving along here at 60 kilometres, 60 kilometres, 60 kilometres, all of a sudden, when I say all of a sudden, there's a change to 50 or 40 because of school zones. And it's that point of change that's pretty important. Does it matter? Probably not, because at the end of the day, if I'm driving along and at 60 and the speed drops down to 40 or 50, then it's going to tell me that I'm speeding, and I have to reduce my speed. So do I need to know it? In addition, so it will let me know if I'm speeding, and that's the important thing. If I'm going too slow, because I still think it's 40, but it's actually changed to 60, I'm inconveniencing the people behind me. I'm not breaking the law, because there's no law to say that you're going too slow that I know of. And so if I'm going too slow, but a quick glance down, I can see what the speed limit is. I can see what I'm going. I can see in my speedometer. I can also see on the speed limit alerts that I'm going too slow. And so it actually helps me, because if I'm within 5 kilometres an hour of the speed limit, it will have a green background, and that green background
Thank you.
that green background helps me to
Slow down.
It's certainly not school zone, so there's something wrong with the data.
Slow down.
There's actually 60 along here because it's out of school zone. I hope it's out of school. Yep, it's 5:28. Sometimes I can't see the clock in the car. I've got a dash cam. I can't see the clock. It's an angle. It's a $369 dash cam, and it sits flush with the windscreen, and yeah, I can't. It's on an angle, so it's very hard for me to see it. So,
Slow down. Thank you.
now it could be actually probably something wrong with my program, so that's something I need to check. Okay, I always play my program first, but sometimes it's harder, sometimes my program. It's a constant updating. Little quirks, little changes they put in, time of day, speed zones, so they change the position of the speed signs before and after that, and also put the time of day. So there's lots of changes going on constantly on the road network. And if I'm driving on my regular roads, then that's good, because I actually pick those up and fix it. That helps me. If there's other people who want to use the thing, they can report it, an issue, and I'll check out that issue and fix that up as well, and that will hopefully help them, which will help others. So I'm not sure if I could actually help the workload if all of a sudden thousands of people use my app and started reporting the issues. I certainly couldn't handle that level of workload. So in a way, it's good that the uptake of my program is relatively slow. And like a lot of things,
Slow down.
like a lot of things, things take a while to take off. So, and it doesn't matter. This web app just sits on the internet, costing me very little money, and in actual fact it makes me money. So it used to be about $3,000 a year, would you believe? But then Google turned around a game and lowered it, so it makes about 10% of that, about $300 a year. It was great when it was making $3,000 a year, but the funny thing is that, I mean, I agree with Google's decision to clobber it. Not happy. Doesn't give me joy, because that was a lot of income that I lost. But at the end of the day, for some reason, Google had picked up all of the web addresses that were parameters for the detail page, and indexed every one of those, and so that gave me a lot of links. Google came along and realised that and updated their algorithm about April, and did a couple of updates, and bang, lost. In a couple of months, the traffic went down by 90%. Doesn't make my application any less useful to people, but the amount of people that know it exists went down 90%. Which is a bit of a pity, but that's life. Life with Google. If you decide that you're going to have a page on social media or something that's reliant, if you're relying on Google for your business, you are crazy. And Google can change your algorithm at any point in time. I've read of people having a Facebook page, a business page, and Facebook just closing it down, and very, very, very difficult to...
Red light speed camera ahead. The speed limit is 60 kilometres.
One hardly contact anybody, and one e-scooter company has taken Facebook to court because it damaged their business so much. And relying on Facebook to promote your business, that's just crazy. Yes, it will get you a lot of business, but if your business is largely based on a social media presence, and they change their rules, which they do all the time, well, it's going to hurt. And in this case, I think the company's asking $800,000, nearly $1 million worth of damages. Probably they're looking for a settlement just to make it all go away. going through Box Hill shortly now. Mont Albert Road, lovely little area in there. When I was younger, I went to a person's place in there. They had a lovely big house, large block of land, beautiful trees. It was an old style house, I think weatherboard, very nice. Box Hill's one of those areas, it's a business centre as well, so lots of development down here. Oh, and you've also got the Box Hill Institute, and as I get up to it on the left hand side, many years ago I was they train people for the restaurant industry. Okay, oh, there it is, the ambulance behind me. It's quite a distance actually. I'll put my window down now and you can hear it. People pull over and okay. People think they have to pull over and stop, but I've read that with the ambulances, if you stop, you're actually blocking all the traffic from flowing. Have a look at this. This is exactly what people are doing. They're stopping. So the ambulances turned off their sirens to stop people doing that behaviour. So the aim, as I understand it, and I can be wrong, like I was trained that you, actually I don't know where it came from, but if you hear an emergency vehicle, pull over and let them through. Now, as I understand it now though, it's not pull over. Pull over to everybody means stop. Pull over to the side of the road and stop. And people interpret it that way. If you stop and the car stops, and then the car stops next to you stops, the ambulance have got nowhere to go. So what you want is for the flow to keep moving and move over and make way for the ambulance so that it can get through. So if it has to go up the middle of the road and you can move over, keep the traffic going, keep it going, it gets to its destination faster. But block it, it can't go anywhere. And traffic lights in Victoria don't go through the traffic light, particularly when there's a red light camera at a traffic light. It's illegal to actually go through, even if there's an emergency vehicle behind you honking its horn. It's illegal. They know that. They're not going to honk their horn at you. They'll come up with their horn blasting to let you know that they're there, but you can't move if it's a red light. You can try to move out of the way for them, but you just got to wait for that red light. Now other states are different, so you got to check the road laws for each state to see what applies in that state. Certainly for Victoria, no. I mean, I actually saw a funeral for a bikie procession. When I say saw, I didn't actually see it. I read about it in the newspapers. And this funeral procession with all the bikies were driving along, or riding along, and going through the red light. And they got booked for going through the red light. Now, what's interesting is the law. There's nothing to say you can go through a red light, but the law does say is that as a driver you're not allowed to interfere with the funeral procession. So the law, so the cars driving across, if there was no traffic lights, could not actually drive across. I think. What obviously they should do is ask the police for assistance and ask them to assist where there are traffic lights as they go along through the procession. Will they do that? Won't they do that? Don't know, but it would be nice. I mean, at the end of the day, if somebody dies, we've got to respect those people. We've got to respect people. And I think one of the things with funeral processions, it's a time of grief for everybody, all their families. It's a time to respect human life. Others may not agree with me, but I would certainly stop and give way to a funeral procession, as long as I wasn't breaking any laws. And that would be an interesting one. If they're going through the red light for the funeral procession and I'm facing the green light, so I have right of way, even if I've got right of way, I can't proceed because I'd be interrupting with the funeral procession. There you go, there's the weirdness of our laws. Of course, I could have the laws wrong as well, so I'm not a lawyer. I do read them, I do try to understand them. Many of the laws are actually deliberately left wide open and written in such a way that you can read it the wrong way. I certainly read the laws the wrong way and have done so. I mean, I got taught that when you're pulling into your private property, you have to give way to all other vehicles. Well, I got taught that, and the way I interpreted that is if I'm driving along and there's a car behind me, I have to give way to that vehicle as well, which is really crazy that I thought that way. So if I'm turning into my driveway, I have to give way to vehicles that are actually coming towards me, not sitting behind me. So in order for me to give way to the vehicle behind me, I'd put my left indicator on, pull over to the left to let the car go past, and then I would put my right indicator on and turn into my driveway. So at the end of the day, it's easy to misinterpret the rules. You get taught, I should say. You learn the road laws as best you can. But once you've gone for your licence, I actually, for zip mergers, submitted that to Vic Roads. The question, with zip mergers, do you have to actually put your indicator on? Simple question. It took about 3 months at least for the answer to come back. That basically sort of said you have to look at the road laws, and that was the problem. Is I'd already looked at the road laws. From what I can see, there is nothing in the road laws that says you have to put
Slow down. Thank you.
that says you actually have to put your indicator on when you do a zip merge. The examples provided by some of the car organisations, they show a picture with the indicators going on in the zip merge, not a normal merge where lane dashes are on the lane that's ending, but a zip merge where both lanes go ahead and both lanes have equal right going ahead. So neither lane finishes. Both lanes continue. So you're not diverging. If you're diverging, you have to put your indicator on. But you're not diverging. You're following a line of traffic. The cars next to you are following the line of traffic, following their lane. And so the only laws that I can find is it says that the car ahead has the right of way, which is good, except for the fact that often when you reach the zip merge part, somebody will try to race through beside you, and I'm sure all of you experienced that lead foot that decides the law doesn't apply to them and they will accelerate hard. And the real problem is that at that point where you're now at the actual point where there's no more dashes, you're ahead and they're coming up fast, and if they're either going to push you into the gutter or they're going to push you into the oncoming traffic, so you're forced to actually give way. So if I was to say one thing that I would like monitored, a camera at zip mergers to catch and educate the people who are actually accelerating through after the merge point. So, but we all drive on the road and we all have to compensate for the driving skill and ability of other people. I'm certainly not perfect. I make mistakes. Yep, I certainly make mistakes, and I don't mean to make mistakes, but being human, we all make mistakes. This is the Doncaster Hill area. Probably back in 1990, there were no large buildings here. On the left-hand side was car parking lots. On the right-hand side, maybe a car parking lot. I can't remember. But there were none of these high-rise buildings, and the local council at the time wanted to build this into Doncaster Hill and make these all high-rise buildings, dense population, put 30,000 people up into this area. In time, this will be like going through a what is it? I forget. Sort of like a valley with huge buildings on either side. But what I really think, if they do, I'm not fussed with that. The office works up around on the next corner up as we go up there. Those buildings there, they will become high rise as well. What they could do to make it friendlier for everybody is to put some overhead ramps so that people can walk straight from these into the shopping centre. So no pedestrian needs to actually go anywhere near the traffic, and they can just get from their buildings, walk along at a high-rise level above the footpath, on the footpath too if they want, but at the end of the day it could be a complete separation between pedestrians and cars and traffic. And that would certainly make this a beautiful area. I was in Shanghai, and they've got this road, this big intersection, and you go up to the top of this, you go up these escalators, and you can walk around the complete intersection, a circle. It's like a big roundabout up above, and it's all for pedestrians. Down below is all the traffic, and you're up above. So I think that could happen here. You never know what somebody's going to do next. Something wrong with my program, because it shouldn't be doing that. Of course it shouldn't be doing that. It thinks it's 40 here. Now the program runs most of the time okay, but for some reason something has glitched. So that will be interesting in trying to work that out. I've been working on this program since May, 6 weeks off for a holiday, I think it was, but I really haven't touched it much over the last few weeks. It's been pretty stable, but here something's gone wrong. I don't know what. Got a simulator that I had to, in order to create this, I've actually written a simulator. But the problem is the simulator picks up the data from the GPS, from the dash cam. So it will tell me that this is all perfectly, that everything's working fine. So what I need to do is actually, I've got some data that's being captured if I want it to be by the development version, but with something like this long trip, it won't capture this amount of data. It's too big for what I designed it for. So I think I need to actually learn some new skills and save the data to a file and then transfer that file across. Now, I've been in that situation once before with the program, don't know what it did. I pulled over, stopped, restarted the program, worked perfectly. So there's some variable in there that's being kept, brought over, not being reset properly. Programming, there's a little joke I made up for myself once. If the art of debugging is removing bugs from programming, then the art of programming is putting bugs into the program. But some of the bugs in programs are quite difficult to find. Often something that you think works one way works slightly different. You might have a capital letter instead of a lowercase letter. You might think a value is a number, but it's being treated as a string. So there's a lot of things that you can get wrong when you program and create bugs, and it's very hard to get all the bugs out of every program. It just doesn't exist. You'll see that your computers lock up, your phones lock up, they do weird things. Sometimes it's the user, but other times it's actually the device. And the good thing is, when something does something weird like that, I really should just restart the program, and that will then turn around and it will work fine. So close it, open it up again, start it, go, and that issue has disappeared. So if you find a bug in my program, just close it down, close it down, and shut the applications, which is the web browser in this case, and then restart it up, and you'll find that it's actually behaving as it should. Hopefully. Tried to ride my electric bike up this hill, and I couldn't. It's such a steep hill. So it's not a good idea to have a large differential between cars travelling along the road And and I was thinking about that the other day, and I think it's actually a very good statement, because when you're travelling at the same speed, the car in front of you hits the brake, you hit the brake, your action time's about a second, so you only need about a second between the cars in order to both brake, as long as you're both braking and similar sorts of things. But if you're going much faster than the car in front, then that changes the time for you to actually slow down. So if the cars are travelling roughly the same speed, it's a safer way of travelling. So don't go past cars that are slow, fast. Okay, thank you for listening to me. I hope you enjoyed the trip. Till next time.